Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in, Bama fans, as we are celebrating the season-ending Sugar Bowl victory over Kansas State. Alabama has dominated the Wildcats 45-20. Great way to end the season. But let's go ahead and start looking at some stats. Welcome everybody in from the chat. Looking forward to hearing from you guys in the chat and phone calls. We're going to be taking calls the entire hour or so that we're on. That number is on the screen right now, 205-898-4698. Hey, I'm Justin Riley. My host, Mike McCoy, will be on shortly, and we'll have a few other people to join us as well. But go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know what you think. Call in. Tell us all your analysis, thoughts, ideas, what have you. If you catch us on the replay, please make sure you give us a great comment or two or three and give us all we need to know about this Sugar Bowl victory. Welcome in, everybody. Again, Alabama has soundly beaten the Kansas State Wildcats 45-20. Excuse me. When we were only favored by a mere 6 points. Well, the true Bama showed up today. Now, it was a bit of a rough start. It looked like we were just kind of walking around like zombies to start things out, but things dramatically turned around. We'll get to all the stats and what happened in the breakdown as soon as my co-hosts kindly join us. But first and foremost, I got to thank Bryce Young, as I'm sure everyone else in this chat can. Bryce Young, what a phenomenal way to close out his career. 15 of 21 for 321 yards and 5 touchdowns. Not only that, he passed A.J. McCarron, second all-time for most touchdown passes thrown with 80. He only trails Tua Tagovailoa, which isn't a bad person to trail at all. But congratulations to Bryce Young. Hard to believe that his 2 years as a Bama quarterback are already over. Of course, this is assuming that he does go pro, which I don't know why he wouldn't, considering that he's going to be a top 5 pick, and some people have even projected him as a solid number 1 pick. Well, listen, folks, while we're waiting on my guys to jump on, go ahead and start giving us a ring. Let's talk to you, the fans. Heck, we hadn't heard from you guys since the Iron Bowl. That's a long time to wait to hear from you guys, the ones who make it happen. But one of the biggest things that I saw going into this game, are we going to win the battle in the trenches? And early on, it didn't look like that we were doing that. It didn't look like we were up to the task. We weren't matching the intensity that Kansas State was bringing to this game. They were just blowing us off the ball, just getting a big push. And it really just looked a little made us a little nervous going in to the second quarter, especially after Deuce Vaughn erupted for that long touchdown. Welcome in, my friend. Roll Tide.
Oh man, I know it's been a while, man. I'm at a little party, so I had to slip away and get into a car, man.
I will say you're the most consistent person on this show, because every time you're at a party, it never ends.
Always, man.
How long do we got you during from the party?
Oh man, I can go for an hour. Some people pulling in, but we'll be all right, man.
I won't keep it more than an hour, man. We got to get to these playoff games. But man, first of all, I was saying before you got on, congratulations to Bryce Young. Tremendous career.
Yes.
It's hard to believe he's done and had a phenomenal day. 51 for 321 yards and 5 touchdowns. Man, just tremendous way to go out. The most important thing is no injury to him, no injury to Will Anderson. Not only did Bryce show up, Jahmyr Gibbs, huge in this game today. He didn't have any touchdowns, but he had those big plays that just set us up in good position time after time. And the most critical being in that first half, when it looked like Kansas State was going to start rolling away with it. They had just scored off of that Deuce Vaughn long run to the outside, which they were holding Tanner Toa on that. But I guess, you got to give the ref their the pass. But either way, defense was struggling. We were reeling, and it looks like we were on our way to a 3-and-out. And then they throw the crossing route to Jameer, and it's down the sideline for 57 yards. And we cap it with a nice throw and catch to Cameron Latu.
No, I mean, bro, you spot on. Now, I was a little worried early in the game. The first couple series, I was like, man, Bama better bring their A game because, hey, man, it's not looking too well. I think we started off flat, man. But like I've been saying the whole year, man, that kid Branch, he shows up continuously on defense, man. I'm telling you, man, do not be.
It's like we got a pause.
I'm disturbed. Sorry.
It's all right. Hey, it's funny you mentioned Brian Branch because it looked like this was Brian Branch's pro day because he was the focus of the entire game. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better defensive performance or single game performance by one man. The guy was just on absolute fire, and he really was that spark that lit the defense up because, like you say, we were reeling and we were getting beat up front in the trenches where I thought we had a decisive advantage. We didn't have an advantage.
Right.
And we just didn't have any answers. And then Brian Branch just did his thing time and time again. So, yeah, the dude balled out. I'd venture to say that his first round status that was up in the air going into this is now all but solidified.
I've been telling people, I've been saying it since last year, man. He is underrated, man. The kid is special, man.
Who y'all talking about, Brian Branch?
Come on, man. You already know who it is. Yes, sir.
Man, he solidified himself as a top 15 pick.
I'm just a messenger, man. I've been saying that the whole year. But who am I? I just
money making Mike.
You feel me?
You're the one who's putting these guys on the field. Speaking of which, Kobe Prentice, got to give props to the man who helped train the man that got in the end zone today. What a run and catch by your boy, Kobe Prentice.
I think him and Bond should have been playing 80% of the snaps the entire game. I mean, the entire season.
Yeah.
The entire season. It is a must. Yeah. I mean, for me, as I don't think O'Brien is leaving. From what it sounds like, these interviews and what's going on.
I think he's gone.
I hope so.
Dude, he's gonna be ran out with torches, bro. If Saban don't do it, we gonna do it.
Renew his contract.
Well, and honestly, man, what sucks about it, Bryce made him look. His resume is going to be bulletproof, honestly, because you had a Heisman Trophy Heisman Trophy winner last year. Think about all they did with just the immense amount of talent that they had. So it's only going to make his resume look fatter, man. But I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't be surprised, man. It's a lot of stuff going on is that they ain't really rocked the boat. So I'm just telling y'all, don't be surprised y'all see Bob there next year, man.
Now, if he stays, I'm blaming you because you're bringing this negative aura in right now.
Bob's trying to get to him and Belichick, he going straight to New England.
Belichick wants to win.
Yeah, he gonna get upgrade from Matt Patricia.
Jeez, but it's funny as I was going into this game, I thought that we were going to give Kansas State a heavy dose of the run. I mean, hey, why not? Kansas State secondary is pretty lights out. They were only giving up 5 yards per play, but they were giving up nearly 6 per carry in the run game. So I thought we were going to give them a huge dose of Clellan and Jahmyr Gibbs, which we were eventually able to do. But the wide receivers guys, people we have been looking for the entire season, showed up, and Jermaine Burton started the charge. Of all people, a guy that we thought was
I ain't gonna say all people. I told you early on, because me and you had that discussion. I said, man, look, these coaches got to learn how to design plays for players, man. You got to play with what you got. And he's one of those guys. I knew it was going to come. I just wasn't sure when it came. But from what they said this kid was doing in the spring, guys, I mean, we just got a small dose of it, today, man. But I'm telling you, he's a 1,000-yard receiver.
Matt, do you remember any of the prior episodes? Mike McCoy talking about Jermaine Burton doing
It
this
had to be.
today?
I'm telling you, it was about the third or fourth game because he had went
Oh,
quiet.
third or fourth game when Matt wasn't here, and
Yeah, Matt wasn't here. Matt wasn't here.
Yeah, too funny.
Hey, but listen, I'm not mad. I mean, dang, if you're going to show up in the most crucial games, which he did towards the end of the season. He started balling out, and then today had a bit of a rough start. Then, boom, hits that 59-yard play.
Yeah,
and then Isaiah Bond in the back of the end zone. Man, great feet placement. He didn't get out of bounds. Just knew where he had to be. Great awareness. Brought that ball down. Man, just great play from wide receivers all around. But who were you impressed with in that first half that you felt really turned things around?
For me, honestly, man, Bryce. I mean, he couldn't have played a better game today. I think today he has let everybody know I'm the best coming out this year. I think if it was ever in question, now he had one play that was questionable when he underthrew. It was 2 passes that I was like, you should have made those. But hey, it's part of the game. That's what comes with it. But he has set the bar so high for us to expect him to have a flawless game, man. But they pitched and catched all day today, man. And just even with the pocket collapsing and he beating guys with his legs on throwing on the run, man. Because you pay attention to it, 3 of those touchdowns were on the run. So Bryce did it, man. He played like Superman today.
I think really what started allowing him to do that was Bill O'Brien commit more to the run, because as the run continued to open up and the offensive line started becoming more dominant and pushing folks back, all of a sudden the wide receivers were able to do their thing. And not just the wide receivers, Cameron Latu came up big in critical situations.
Money today.
Woo. Yes. Is he a senior?
He is a senior. He's already elected to play in the Senior Bowl.
6'5", he's gonna make like I can't commend those guys. I want to highlight the whole team because we came out kind of flat.
Yeah,
and it showed. I think the whole team, coaches, players, we were just flat. Bryce was off. It was weird. Then, like Desmond Howard said, once we got hit in the mouth a couple times and we woke up, then we started rolling. I mean, Cam Latu, the offensive line, the play calling. The defense made a lot of stops. They made the adjustments after because, during the game, I'm like, why are we not covering, tighten up the defense on the slide? Howard were just throwing it to the slide guy. It looked like Kansas State wanted it more, but we switched it off and we got rolling. But kudos to Bryce, man. If Bryce ever puts a complete game together, it's going to be unreal. I mean, just imagine if he came out firing on all cylinders. He easily would have had 6 or 7 touchdowns versus team. So kudos to Bama. I thought guys that made a lot of money.
That's a good segue to a segment here.
Guys that made a lot of money: Brian Branch, Cam Latu. I thought Battle did good to let people know that, hey, I'm still one of the top safeties. Helms made a lot of good plays, solid tackles.
Who lost money?
Who lost money?
Henry Toa.
Toa, yeah. I mean,
that tight end game took him down through down there. I said, oh my goodness.
Hey, did you see him celebrate afterwards like he did something?
Oh yeah.
He was throwing his hands up like that and going like that at him. I'm like, bruh, you just got beat. He dropped the pass. You did nothing to prevent him from doing anything. Good grief. Come on, bro.
I think Eli Ricks lost a little bit of money because of the way he gave up on that run play that broke. I mean, like he just eased off the gas, man.
Look at that play. Kool-Aid McKinstry got world speed. I literally watched this guy walk this guy down like, I was like, man, he kept going in an extra gear. Most guys max out and they just like, man, I ain't got it. But Kool-Aid was like, I was like, dang. Even though Vaughn scored, but man, Kool-Aid's got some right. Kool-Aid made a lot of money, made a lot of plays. It was good to see Malachi Moore kind of bounce back.
Does he have one more year?
He does have one more year.
Back. I think he's coming back.
Hey, great pursuit on that sack.
Yeah,
because Kansas State was driving in the second half and was starting to put something together to kind of fight back, and he has that critical sack from around the end and just chased him down. Awesome play by Malachi. He was really good today, I felt.
Yeah, he played a solid game, man.
I wanted to see guys like, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Guys who are hot. Like at the beginning of the game, Kendrick Law was on fire, and Rodell Williams, they were making play after play on special teams. I'm like, we can come back and feed these guys the ball because obviously they're on another level. But hopefully Coach Saban understands that and sees those special teams guys making plays and kind of reward them on the offensive and defensive end.
But Rodell is probably the most underrated and underused back. If this kid was anywhere else in the country, he would be playing.
Oh, no doubt.
I don't know if that's one of the guys, like if he would have transferred out, you can't be mad at a kid like that.
Not at all.
You cannot be mad. The boy's strong, fast, good hands. I mean,
that's something
the right way.
I think what he's missing, I think our best back that has the best vision is McClellan. I think he's just got the best vision. Gibbs, he has good vision, but it seems like he's looking to bounce everything outside. And Rodell, it's a lot of times when he got in the game late in the second half, I think that backside hole was there. So if these guys continue to evolve and get better at their game, they're going to be unstoppable. They're going to have to because you got Justice Hayes and Richard Young right on your tail. So we saw Daniel Miller make a big run in the ends of this game. So
yeah.
But do you think Bama made a statement today that to the playoff committee that, hey, we should have been in the playoffs?
I honestly, that my argument is they definitely, if Bama would have went, bro, Bama would have won this whole thing. I don't care what nobody say. They'll show up and they'll fight, but we didn't do it when it counted.
That's right.
But everybody knows Bama should have been in the playoffs. But if you're asking, are we the most talented team? Yes. But did we put it together when we had to? No.
Yeah.
Excellent point. If we play this way against Tennessee, we play this way, especially against LSU. We're not having this discussion. We're getting ready for either the game right now or the game tonight. And we're tuning up for that natty. But today, I can say we played like Bama. We looked like Bama.
Well,
let's go ahead and start getting some calls in. I want to remind everybody that calls in that you won't be able to hear Matt or Mike speak. So if you would, state your name, where you calling from, what you want to talk about, and then hang up and listen so that we can respond to you, or else you won't be able to hear great points that Mike and Matt can make. Welcome in to the TDA postgame show. You're on live with Justin Riley, Mike McCoy, and Matt Caddell. Tell us where you're calling from. Tell us your name and what you want to talk about. Oh, and Roll Tide. What's going on, Mike?
It was a great game. Players played tough, played hard. With Mike, I think Bob's coming back. I do believe he is coming back. So all I have to do is say Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. And what makes you? Can I ask you what makes you feel like that Bill O'Brien will be coming back?
Who gonna give him a job?
It's all rumors. Everything's been happening is just nothing but rumors. And it's nothing that's been solidified to say, okay, this is all rumors. And as I said, I just think that if there was a move that should have been made, it would have been made before the game, before the bowl game. So no move was made. everything is rumors. I think there's going to be a re-up for another 2 years, and Bob is coming back.
Okay, you raise a good point. We appreciate your call, and we'll debate that. So if you would, kindly listen to what we have to say. Guys, do you feel like that maybe we didn't let him go before the game was because it would just be too much of a disruption? It would kind of ruin the flow of things.
Hey, no, them boy probably would have celebrated.
So it doesn't throw him off. It doesn't get him out of rhythm. Everything flows better.
If somebody told me, "Hey man, Bryce Cole," if you know you ain't got the offense coordinator, and they said Bryce Cole in the whole game, who gonna panic?
Well, yeah, we did talk in previous shows that this is the only offense in the country that can be ran without an offensive coordinator. So I do have to kind of take back what I said, because when Bryce Young is calling the plays, we're more efficient. We're making better decisions. Things are happening. But when Bill O'Brien is inserted, all of a sudden we start bumping our head, tripping over on 2 feet.
So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask y'all. Matt. I'm asking you, and I'm asking you. Who gonna hire him?
I think it's the NFL. I think it's the Patriots.
XFL.
I think it's the Patriots.
Hold on. Y'all, with what's been going on, y'all really think?
I don't believe neither he nor Golden are being pursued right now by anybody, and there's a reason they're still here.
That's what I'm saying. So you think the Patriots gonna get his man some money and give him the keys to the car?
Listen, when the story broke last week by Aaron Rappaport, I mean, that stuff, man, you already know that stuff's already happening. I think he's going to
last year the same thing was happening though, Matt. And never materialized.
Yeah, but even Bill O'Brien said he was coming back for Coach Saban. He didn't want to just up and leave
because nobody wanted
Coach
him.
Saban hanging like that.
He was linked.
I just think he's going to the NFL. Honestly.
He was linked last year. What was it, to Minnesota or what else was it? Jaguars.
No, it was the OC's. It was offensive coordinator with the Patriots.
So let me ask you this, Peter. I'm sorry, Matt.
Yeah,
for being professional.
I just think he's going to the NFL. That's just on my 2 cents.
If he buys a ticket,
he goes to the NFL, I mean, they are a pass. The NFL. It's rare that you have 1,000-yard running back nowadays. It's rare. We only have 7 plays. Who is going to spend some money on this man? I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I just think about the Patriots. That's the only thing. If it's not the Patriots, he won't have it. He'll be back at Bama, but I just think the Patriots I just think Belichick is going to hire him as the OC. Because they obviously need an offensive coordinator.
Because they friends. He just going. You right. He may end up over there. They friends.
He brought him.
I mean, he keeps bringing Josh McDaniel back. I mean, why not?
Brought him a Super Bowl.
But then again, the NFL is known for bringing coaches back to other teams when they constantly fail at what they did at the previous job. Josh McDaniel.
I just think it's the Patriots. Now, if it's not the Patriots, I think he'll be back. But I don't think the Patriots are going to roll with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as co-offensive coordinators and deal with that nonsense.
I can agree with that. I just don't feel like Bill O'Brien's the answer.
I think Bill wants to get back to the program just by the way he calls offenses. He calls it as the pro style. But, if he doesn't, I mean, it is what it is. We do have continuity. But if he does come back, I just think that just shows that Ty Simpson's going to be the starter next year.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think Bill is just comfortable with Ty. He knows his, it's kind of like his baby he groomed and raised. So
what's it going? So is Milroe gonna be wrong if he don't leave?
Not at all. I don't think that's fair.
He looked too big to me.
Bro. If you have the right guy grooming you who knows how to adapt his play calling to your abilities, it's not a problem. You have this thing called development. Lane Kiffin did it. Steve Sarkisian did it. Bill O'Brien can't do it or won't do it.
Yeah, he won't do it with Milroe. Bill O'Brien's the type. I think he's so he has an ego about himself that he's going to call his plays, his style, the way he runs them. and obviously that was evident when Milroe came in versus Texas A&M that he didn't call plays that fit Milroe's, style or whatnot. So if we do have a new OC, I think you're gonna have to have like a kind of quarterback coach too, or quarterback guru that can really develop Milroe and play to his strengths. But that's gonna take like 2 years. That's gonna take like a good 2 years, in my opinion.
Not necessarily. You bring Dan Enos back. Look what he was able to do with Jalen Hurts his last year at Alabama before he went on to Oklahoma and continued to develop under Lincoln Riley.
Where is Enos?
Now that I'd actually have to do some research, but Dan Enos is a great quarterback developer, not so much of an offensive coordinator, but he can build up quarterbacks. So give him a shot. If you're going to keep Bill O'Brien, bring somebody in there who can at least develop quarterbacks. You
definitely need a QB coach.
He sabotages quarterbacks.
Especially if you're going to, with Milroe. Like, I think Todd Simpson, I think he can just go wherever and play. But Milroe needs that kind of one-on-one development, especially in the pocket. You obviously shows that Bill O'Brien hasn't worked. Nobody has really worked with him on his offensive game. So that's unfortunate in my opinion.
Well, let's go ahead and take another caller. I want to remind the callers, if you did not hear originally, the guys on my panel you won't be able to hear the guys on my panel. So if you would, after you tell us who you are, where you're calling from, tell us what you want to talk about, and then hop off the line so you can hear our responses. I want to make sure that you're able to hear everything that Matt and Mike are able to say. Welcome in to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine post-game show. You're on live with Justin, Matt, and Mike. Tell us who you are, where you're calling from, and what you want to talk about. You're on live, caller.
This is Rambo calling from Atlanta, Georgia, man. I was just happy to really see him put the linebackers in, man. I've been waiting to see Campbell and Murphy, man. Murphy was coming down through that hole, hitting them holes, and you can see the looseness with Campbell chasing them tight ends and them running backs. He really do look like a small, the Cowboys Mekhi Parsons.
Yeah.
That's what I've been really waiting for. I'm tired of seeing number 10. I really thought they was gonna pick the older guys that was gonna leave for the draft and stuff like that and let the younger guy play on defense, but they didn't. But it's all right, man. I was proud of the way they played, man. And I'm ready to see the wide receivers with Bond. Kendrick Law gonna be a beast. That's a dog. He built like a running back, but played wide receiver. And then I feel like they're gonna have the other guy, Kobe Prentice. That's gonna be the trio right there. But thank you for taking my call. That's all I want to talk about. The new guys, I thought it was going to be more of them playing. Like, I agree with Marvin I believe that those young guys should have been playing 80% from the jump. This is the first time I ever seen Nick Saban ever take this long to drop them guys. When we won that championship and beat Georgia. He pulled Jalen. Then Najee Harris got in the game. Najee Harris was fresh. Devontae Smith was fresh. Jerry Jeudy was fresh. Calvin Ridley was fresh. I don't know why he hesitated this long, because usually Nick Saban pull him for a freshman. But I don't understand it this year. But thanks for taking my call. I don't understand why it took so long to pull people and give the players more time. But this year, I really believe 2023 coming in that he's cleaned house. I don't care about the transfer report. He gave those guys enough opportunities to play. I feel like those guys didn't want it. They're not dogs, so they left, and they know that them young guys coming in and that's there are taking spots. So thanks for taking my call. That'll be all, sir.
All right. We definitely appreciate it. So, guys, let me pose the question. Normally, Nick Saban, like the caller just mentioned, if something's not right, something's not working, he is quick to cut it and go a different direction. But this year, he wasn't pulling the trigger like he normally does. Any explanation as to why? Is it because of the new culture that if you don't get a kid what he wants immediately, they're going to be in the transfer portal and he's being hesitant, or is it another reason?
I think that plays a huge factor, but I also know a lot of those kids have been inconsistent as far as in that receiver room, and that's the biggest thing. Coach Saban has preached forever. Consistency is the key. So If you're not, you may be starting 1 week, and literally the next week you will not be starting based on how you play. Matt can attest to this. I can attest to this. Your job is never secure at the receiver spot, and I think that is the biggest issue. And that's where I think you need to give a guy some stability to kind of give him some leeway. You can't play knowing somebody's on my heels like that all the time, as opposed to his DBs who get cooked like toast on a daily basis, and he leave them in there. Well, they need some experience. They need this. So I think he's inconsistent far as that in evaluating the receiver talent.
Yeah, I think that too. And I think, it's just, we had bad play calling. Bryce was hurt. It's just you couldn't really pull those guys like you wanted to. I think we were just caught in a perfect storm situation where, Bryce was injured. We still were inconsistent, as Mike said, where, in the old days, Saban would have been playing those freshmen because Bryce was hurt. You kind of had to go through the season kind of just, doing your best with what you had. And we had bad play calling on top of that. So it was kind of like a perfect storm against us as to why. But to the caller's point, you talk about that class, Najee and Tua and all them. This 2023 class is the exact same way. I mean, their attitude, they're going to bring the championship mindset back to Alabama, and they're going to push a lot of the older guys. So I'm excited to see what this 2023 class is going to bring to the team next year. And I think Saban's going to he's going to get back to making sure that he has the right people in places to make those decisions.
I got you. Well, based on the lineups you saw today and how the season ended, who do you see being the guys at wide receiver next year, since we're on this topic right now? And quick shout out to Daniel Chambers for the $2 super chat, saying Dan Enos is actually at Maryland. And when I was reading in the chat, he's being paid pretty well by Mike Loxley. So, yeah, look at this wide receiver group. Who do you feel like is going to be the dogs next year?
I mean,
the ones we've already seen, or is it some of these guys coming in? Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, I think it's going to be the four that we saw today, on top of that number one, the JUCO kid that's coming in. I don't know if y'all seen this boy.
He's legit.
Oh, my goodness. Legit. Yeah. NASCAR. That's all I'm going to say. He like that. So, I think you're gonna have. I don't ever think you're gonna have this. If this was a down year, I'm okay with it because they played when they had to play. Now it hasn't just been a complete takeover, but you see the talent is there. I think they have the capable. I think you have a room where every last receiver in there can even have over 500 yards. Real talk. You got 5 receivers that can have well over 500 yards. So.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and hit these phone lines again. A reminder, those folks who are going to be calling in, you will not be able to hear Mike and Matt. So just tell us who you are, what you want to talk about, then hop off the line so you can hear what these guys are going to say. You're calling in live to the TDA postgame show. You're with Justin, Matt, and Mike. Who we have on the line?
You already know, Justin. It's your boy, Coach Smoop, man, and it's going down tonight. Roll Tide, everybody. What's up, Mike? What's up, Matt? My brother, Justin. How everybody doing today?
Coach Smoop.
What's up with it?
Roll Tide, Coach Smoop.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Man, let me tell you, bro. Did I not call this game? Did I, literally, I said Deion Branch was gonna be the X factor on defense. You saw what happened. We came out with the energy, but you could tell guys were rusty. But the talent gap is just like I expected to be. We have the best talent across the field when you match up against a team like Kansas State. Schematically, we still weren't there. We saw a few wrinkles today that I'm trying to figure out why we haven't been running the ball like we relied on the run game today. I think we could have relied on it a lot more earlier in the game. and it probably would have had a better impact with getting guys in rhythm. You could tell the offensive line was a little shaky at the beginning, with having some guys filling in. But it all after the first quarter, middle of the second quarter, everything started to settle. And to be honest, man, today's the first time I've seen Pete Golden allow the secondary to not allow them, but force them to make some changes. That soft coverage when they have the slot receivers, and our guys are literally just getting beat on the rub route. Not necessarily rub routes, it's just the type of depth that they're being coached to have. When they have those stack receivers or they have the twins on one side. I'm not understanding that concept, especially in short yardage situation. You have athletes on the outside who's supposed to be able to cover. Allow those guys to play up, bump and run. Use the communication. Make these guys learn how to communicate and switch on the crosses. If you want them to rely on their athletic ability, put them in positions to do so. And Pete Golden, I think he could have went to a lot earlier, but I think everybody was just kind of filling things out for that first quarter. But we saw it get cleaned up. And offensively, man, just seeing guys like Kobe Prentice, Isaiah Bonds working, getting open, seeing Bryce put the ball in spot, on point was good. Still not impressed with Jermaine Burton, even though he had a few good catches. Still not impressed. Anybody, I think me, Matt, and Mike can go right now and get a free release and make a good play on a perfectly ball. As a wide receiver with a free release, that's the only time he made any type of impact when he had a free release. I want to see this guy grow. If he's going to get any type of respect from me, as and I ain't saying that I matter or anything, but you got to be able to get off the ball when you got press coverage, man. You got to be able to make moves and be strong at the point of attack, and even being more aggressive with catching the ball. He still hasn't used his hands. The perfectly thrown ball by Bryce in the end zone on the slant route. He had no choice but to catch it because it was a perfect throw, in his arm. So it's just one of those things where you're kind of wondering. Hopefully, you're kind of hoping and praying that hopefully we have personnel recognition next season and see that you got guys that's going to be able to outplay him, and be able to impact the game more consistently instead of always having to warm up and wait for a guy to do what he do. But overall, man, this was the type of game we needed, the type of spread we needed to win by. And I think it's paying off. I would have loved to see, Milrow get in a little bit earlier with some actual offense called and things like that. But it was good to see the young running back Miller get in there. Roydell still running hard. Roydell made some key plays on special teams today too. I just felt like we had Bama energy today. So overall, good game, decent way to finish the season. Great way to finish the season, especially with all the inconsistencies we dealt with this season. And I think now it's just time to clean house on staff and open this depth chart up for competition, like real competition, because this group of young guys coming in, I feel like they can make a push and impact this team for the next 2 to 3 years to come. So that's all I got to say, man. It was a good season, a decent season. I ain't gonna say it was a good season. It was a decent season to Bama Standard, but overall, I think we finished better than expected, given all the issues and all the inconsistencies and penalties and horrible coaching by both coordinators. I feel like we panned out pretty good to be in that adverse of a situation. You can't get that at many other universities and still have an 11-win season. So, and I think I heard the announcer say it was 12 years straight that we won 10 plus games. So that's a mark in itself. And then Bryce going out with the high numbers will make it some impact plays. Branch, Battle, all these guys that's leaving, they actually showed up to play. It was good to see that. So Huggin Henry did what Huggin Henry does. I don't think he hugged as many people today, but yeah, he's out the way now. So this is a good thing for Bama, y'all. Bama fans, listen up. It's a great thing for us to turn the page and move on to the next chapter. And let's see. I would love to see some good QB competition and some good evaluation with a new coordinator and some other pieces on both sides of the staff. And I think we could make a strong return next year to Bama dominance. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off, man. I'm just excited about to get off work, go home, and turn up for the New Year's. Everybody in the chat, Happy New Year's. Y'all be safe. Roll Tide, and see y'all in the off season, man.
All right, Roll Tide. Thanks for calling in, Coach Smoot. Yeah, guys, a couple of things he brought up. First and foremost, we only had 5 penalties, whereas, per game, we were averaging, 7 to 10 penalties a game. We led the nation with 70 yards in penalties per game. In Kansas State, is actually one of the most disciplined teams in the country, only averaging, I think, 4 or 5. And today, we did a pretty good job as far as not beating ourselves. Another thing that he brought up, was it me, or we just giving out too much cushion in that secondary today in the first half? Because there's several times where I saw Warner just out in space by himself, nobody around, and then it's like, oh, we got to cover him. Is that something that y'all saw?
Yeah, we were trying to we were playing a little bit more off versus Kansas State, especially on their slot guys, because the slot guys were just running out routes and corner routes on our safeties, and they would just get easy completions. And then I think after Deuce Vaughn scored that touchdown, then we went back to playing Bama defense, and we pressed all across the board. We ended up getting 2 picks. I mean, we had a great game plan after that, but that's what I saw. I don't know if Mike saw anything else.
No, I'm with you. I think that's what they were. When you run that soft zone like that and you get picked apart, when you go, man, you know exactly who fault it is. I don't think they had enough time to run that zone. Like Coach Smoot just said on there, that communication has to be vital. It has to be key, and that has to, honestly, they're athletic enough to tell somebody what to do, and they can make quick adjustments. But I think they should have came out. Honestly, I don't think this team would have scored if we would have played man from the beginning, from the get-go.
Absolutely. Well, we have somebody who's sitting here in the call line. He's been waiting for a while, so we're going to let him in to talk about some things. Welcome into the show. You're on live with Justin, Matt, and Mike. Tell us who you are, where you're calling from, and what you want to talk about in Roll Tide.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. My name is Caleb Stevens from Little Rock, Arkansas. Roll Tide, though. I'm born and raised in Alabama. So, anyway, thanks again for taking my call. And I got to watch the whole game. I sat down and really evaluated this game. I was really hoping to see some good energy coming out of the gate, but that didn't really happen. But, like they said, we got hit in the mouth a few times. And Bryce really responded and showed us why he was the highest in QB last year. And I felt like he got disrespected this year, and people forgot about him, but he really balled out. And love to see the guys who decided not to opt out of this game really made some amazing plays. I felt like the coverage at first was like, we have some of the best corners, and we're given way too much cushion. And I was kind of getting mad. I was like, why is Brian Branch playing so soft? But then, we actually made an adjustment, so that was surprising. But I give it to Pete for allowing them to really press and kind of shut down some things and kind of get that QB Will Howard kind of uncomfortable, because I felt like, we gave him too much space to get comfortable in that first quarter. But all around, good game. I'm looking forward to next year. I mean, it's still a great season, but man, we got some great young cats coming in who really want to ball. And, I'm kind of not sold on Jermaine Burton either. Kind of like what Coach Snook was saying. He had a good catch, but, man, I'm looking at Blake Benson and his routes, man, just watching him run routes. It's hard for me to see Burton getting playing time over that guy. So I don't know. I like Vaughn. I like Prentice. I like Law. Law and Roydell both had sneaky great plays on special teams. I feel like we need to reward those guys. Crazy running back room. It's going to be interesting at quarterback, but I don't know. I mean, those are just my thoughts. Yeah.
Well, we greatly appreciate you calling in and voicing your thoughts, man. And Great way to end the season. Not a natty, but we still hoisted a pretty important trophy.
I mean, we got the Sugar Bowl, and that means something. And I'm glad that Nick Saban is really trying to emphasize that these bowl games have history. They're amazing games, and I'm glad we got to show the world that we did belong in that college football playoff. But this is just ammunition for next year. So hopefully this will kind of help transition us to a good off season. And if Bill O'Brien goes, good riddance. But if he stays, man, we've got to develop. We got to develop these kids, man. We got some amazing talent coming in. So it would be really thankful for us not to, at least be in the CFP next year with the talent that we've got coming in. So yeah, good win, and Happy New Year's to everyone. Stay
Happy
safe.
New Year. Yes, sir. Roll Tide. Yeah, he brings up a very good point there. These guys coming in might tell some of these older guys to sit down. They look like they're on loan to Bama from the NFL. So if these older guys don't want to do their thing, portal's open.
Listen, I think you got a culture now that we let the portal guys leave, but I think it's like Coach Saban said, we got rid of dead weight. We look better as a team. We have more energy. Coaches flying around. We played more guys. So I just think it was good to get some of those guys who were, as Coach Saban called them, the blinking lights. Get them away off the team.
That was a big statement by Coach Saban. What was it, yesterday or day before? Get rid of the blinking lights, and all of a sudden, distraction's gone. People are moving a lot better. Parts are working the way they should. Definitely makes the locker room a lot better. We're going to take one more call before we start breaking down the game and what we saw, and give our final lap dogs and pit bulls for the year. You're on live with the TDA post-game show with Justin, Matt, Mike. Who do you have on the line? Where are you calling from, and what would you like to talk about?
Hey, this is AJ. I'm calling from New York. I'm originally from Alabama. Played college ball, played D1 ball about 10 years ago. So I just had a question for you guys. Maybe that I don't want to sound like the old guy saying, back in my day, but I watch the landscape of college football now, and I'm watching these defenses play, especially the corners. Can any one of you gentlemen explain to me why do the DBs give these receivers like 8 to 10 yard cushions nowadays? And I've watched Alabama get torched over and over and over with these quick slants and quick outs and comebacks. And it's like we're doing the same thing over and over. Today was the first day I watched the DBs come up like a man and play. And you see what happens. And I watch Georgia, I'm not trying to compare, but I watch the University of Georgia, and their DBs are mugging the receivers. They're punking them. And I watch us play the whole year. And I don't know if it's the scheme Pete Golden has or our DBs are bailing before the quarterback even hikes the ball, 10-yard cushions. I'm like, this is soft, man. And this is the first time I'm seeing our DBs mug the receivers. And I'm like, yes, I've been waiting for this the entire season, especially against Tennessee. We're getting skills out there, and you're giving these DBs 10-yard, and you're giving these receivers 10-yard cushions. I've never seen. I don't understand that kind of defense. I never played it. I would never suggest it. But I'm glad today we manned up, and our DBs looked like Alabama DBs for the first time in the entire year. I'm talking about mugging receivers.
Wow.
I don't care about pass interference. I don't care about penalties. Mug them.
What?
That's all I want to say. This is the first time I've been happy with our secondary the entire year.
I completely understand. Yeah. In order for you to hear Mike and Matt's response, hang up and listen because you won't be able to hear them on the phone. But, man, thank you for the call. Excellent point. That's one of the many points that we've made all season. But we appreciate you coming on with us. Man, what a great call. Excellent point. And Kool-Aid was one of those guys today who was being very physical. And also, too, the referees were letting him play. Normally, they're throwing out
Big Ten officials
all day. but he was allowed to do his thing. But finally, the changes were made. The guys were aggressive, and they weren't able to do. Kansas State, that is, wasn't able to do what other teams had done against us this year.
I think that goes back to officiating. I feel like in the SEC, Alabama DBs are kind of they put magnifying glasses on Alabama DBs when they're playing press man. Any little type of physicality, they're going to call a flag, and I think that kind of frustrated the defensive backs, this year a little bit. But you can see when we got the Big Ten officials, I mean, they were calling it like it should. I just feel like the Alabama DBs and Coach Saban said, to play corner, the pass interference is the hardest thing to call, especially the SEC. I just feel like they have a hyper focus on Alabama DBs, especially on the road. They're looking for these emotional crowd away game calls, where the guy made a good play, Kool-Aid or Ricks made a good play, then here comes a pass interference penalty 10 seconds later. So I think a lot of that had to do with some of it. But, I think it goes back. If the SEC officials let them play, then we're good. If not, you got to kind of be kind of cautious. And I think we kind of got burned on some PI calls in the road games this year, and I think that kind of affected us playing cornerback. What are your thoughts, Mike?
Honestly, I think it's I agree with, you bring up some good points. I wasn't thinking like that. So you definitely bring up some good points, but I think it matches your defensive coordinator. I think he was running a pro style type of defense. Hey man, we're going to let them catch everything up under us, and then we're going to make plays. I think a light switch went off just like the NFL does. When it's playoff times, they play completely different. We have something to play for. We have to show up. And I think this was today was something that Coach Saban kind of went back to the book. I know he hears the chatter. I know he hears the dissatisfaction. And I think he probably took over the play calling a little bit more. And he was forced to make those guys find an identity today going into this new year. So a lot of this stuff, like my man said, 10 yards off, we've been doing it. We started off the game like that until we made some adjustments, and I think that was the biggest thing. But I guess for me answering his question, man, it's the defensive coordinator, bro. Your guys, when you have an immense amount of talent like that, it's your job not to mess them up. Let them boys play, man. What'd you bring them there for? You're playing defense. You don't point no fingers. It's almost like track. When you're on that island out there, hey, man, you get beat. We know who lost. We know who didn't do their job. And I take 15 any day over 6.
No doubt. It was interesting that one of the announcers today was talking about how he was in practice all week.
Oh, my gosh.
You all right?
Oh, Michigan is blowing this game.
We need to hurry up and hop off so we can watch that game. But I'll end this thought real quick, and then if y'all will give your lap dogs and your pit bulls, and then we'll be out of here to check on the playoffs.
Sorry.
But yeah, the announcer said he was in practice all week and was just shocked about how involved Coach Saban was in the defensive side of the room, individual drills, things like that. Well, the thing is, he had to be, just because of the way the defense has been performing this whole year. He had to step back in instead of being the CEO and start being that hands-on teacher again for us to start doing what we needed to do.
I agree 1,000%. I couldn't. And I think in order for Coach Saban to get back on that throne, I'm not even gonna say he's been dethroned, man. In order to continue to stay relevant, them outside ventures gonna have to be on hold, man.
Just to the side.
Yeah,
and it's funny is that the same announcer had said that, hey, if Georgia wins the Natty this year, does that mean that Coach Saban is officially dethroned? That's a complete joke. Yeah, if they win it, great. They're starting to establish something, but you got to do this consistently for over a decade, which Coach Saban has done, 16 plus years. That just because Georgia wins 2 of the last, possibly the last 2, doesn't mean that they have surpassed Coach Saban. But
But
it's time
Everybody
for.
just wants to be Alabama, man.
hold on. Hey, well, I'm the devil's advocate.
Here we go. There's
I'm
always
gonna
one.
play devil's advocate. We live in a microwave society, so these kids don't know. They only know what's hot. They only know what's hot. They don't care. If you ask a kid who is, excuse me, 17 to 22, who won 4 years ago, they probably can't tell you.
Nope.
That's all I'm telling you. So it's all about what have you done for me lately. So when people make statements like that,
I gotta counter you on that one because I gotta counter you on that one because you look at Georgia, Caleb Downs, Justice Hayes, all these guys from the state of Georgia. We signed the top 4 players in the state of Georgia after we had a 2-loss season, after we didn't look that great. I mean, we not in the playoffs. Georgia's in the playoffs. Like, these guys want to go play for Alabama. Like, that's why I be trying to tell Georgia fans, like,
or is their roster too full over there?
I don't think these.
I don't know what's up with Georgia. I mean, I try to tell folks all the time, like, Georgia, y'all are good, but Alabama Crimson Tide is a brand that is like no other. Obviously, because the playoff ratings are, for what they don't want to admit it, they lost money. The ratings are going to be down because Alabama's not in it.
I agree.
Georgia's got the perfect scenario. You would think they would sign the #1 class this year, right? When you got Caleb Downs and Justin Hayes in your state. But, it's
well,
they still want to go to Bama. You know what I'm saying? They still want to play for Saban. So,
well, they can counter it. We let Peter Woods get out of state this year, man.
Yeah,
but we kept some others in state though. Quay Russaw and James Smith. Woo!
Did y'all see a stat, Matt? Mike, did you not know that the state of Alabama is like top 5 when it comes to talent in the country, state-wise?
Well, that's because I'm here now.
I
train
all these guys. That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
I'm just
Mike,
playing.
Kudos to you for all you do. But I'm like, man, it's so much talent.
No, it is some talent, man.
In
There's
the
some
state
talent.
of Alabama, like we should beating like Louisiana, which was shocking. Usually Louisiana's on another level. They're usually competing with like Florida, Texas, and Georgia. But man, we're like right there. Like it's crazy. So
there's some talent out here, man.
Mike, you're doing a great job, bro. Keep it up.
I was just talking, but that's funny.
But hey, speaking of athletes not being in the know, and hey, even these guys, I don't think really understand history either about who came before them, who did what. And Mike, I think you should get on to your boy Blake Sims. He had George Teague on his show the other day and did not know who he was.
Wow, are you serious?
Yes.
He should have researched it. A good
Ask
host.
Bo. It was hilarious.
Wow, no, Blake, come on now.
George T, the
neither did Christian Jones.
Jones didn't know who it was either.
No, and Bo was on the air. He said, "How do you even come to Alabama and not know who George Teague is?"
George Teague, the reason I wanted to go to Alabama, him and David Palmer. When I see George Teague, he still got the famous play when he ripped the guy versus Miami in the national championship.
The strip, one of the most recognized plays in Bama history. Daniel Moore,
the high step in the end zone. I'm like, oh my God, it's like this is one of the great. I always wanted to do that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But that's to Mike's point, though. That's what Mike said.
And Jones and Christian, they were 3-4 years younger than me. So
So you talk to him and give him a hard time. It's quite
got
funny.
that Instagram, man. These cats thinking about Instagram.
The blue check. That's all they want to see. You got a blue check.
You ain't have to earn your blue check no more. You
can
can pay for your blue check.
I thought you said booty check.
Well, guys, before we get out of here, just go ahead and hand it over and give your pit bulls, give your lap dogs. This is the last one of the season, so make it count. I'm gonna save you for last, Mike. Matt, who are your pit bulls and who are your lap dogs?
I'm just gonna say kudos to the whole Alabama football team, man. I don't have any lap dogs. I mean, for them to come out I mean, the players, the coaches, I mean, they all did a great job. Oh my gosh, they all did a great job. About to score that TCU up 7-0. Yeah, kudos to Alabama football. They did all of them. I mean, Bryce, Branch, Will. I mean, it was great. So, kudos to Alabama. Roll Tide, roll, baby.
All right, Mike. Make it
All
count.
right.
It's your last one.
My last one for the new year and the last one of the season. My Pitbull MVP goes to Bryce.
Yep.
But as a whole, everybody showed up today. I really don't have too much to hang my head on. I think we have something to look forward to. I hope this is a turn of a new chapter. We're going out on a win, and I hope that it transitions to next year. And I hope that these guys create a new identity. I pray that I ain't gonna wish nothing. I don't hope nobody lose no job, but I mean, look, we need some new coordinators. We need some new coordinators. I'm not trying to hate, be funny. Just give them a job somewhere else.
Word on the street, Pruitt coming in as Cody coordinator. That's kind of the rumblings I'm hearing.
And he has just been cleared of NCAA probes.
Well, he just the only one got caught. He ain't doing nothing that nobody else been doing. He just got caught.
Exactly.
But I don't know how that will work because you can't have two chefs in the same kitchen. So that's just my 2 cents. But to follow up, I have no lap dogs today.
Oh, okay. Hey, I heard a little rumor too that South Sincere is going to be back on the field.
I'm quite sure.
They need him, Bo Davis. They need Birdie Burns.
Hey, you see what Saban did with HaHa? He's like, I need to get more of my Bama guys back.
That's it. That's it.
I mean, Mike, he gonna be calling you here shortly for something.
He better. You know, I'm a rogue, man. I don't know.
But yeah, no lap dogs for me. You know, nothing but pit bulls. Congratulations to the team as a whole, like these gentlemen just said, especially the guys who are departing: Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Jahmyr Gibbs. Hey, don't forget, we have the best kicker in Alabama history that's leaving as well, Will Reichard. Today was his last day. He's declared for the NFL. He'll be in the Senior Bowl. And, guys, you can't forget about him. Somebody already mentioned that in the chat, that he was being overlooked. Can't overlook what this guy has done. Tremendous player. And, yeah, he missed a few this year. But overall, cannot complain. Solid 4 years of great performance. I mean, just amazing guy. But thank you to everybody on this departing for what you've done for the program. Next year's going to be a big year. And, hey, we're ready to do it all over again. That'll do it for all of us. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and give your predictions on the playoff games. Mike.
Oh, I think I'm pulling for Michigan. I think Michigan going to win, and I think Georgia going to win, and I think Georgia will close it out.
All right. Matt?
Yeah, I think Georgia's going to pull it out. That game could be tricky, Ohio State-Michigan game. I think Michigan's going to pull it out, but from the looks of it, being down 7-0. Oh, my gosh, they hit. I don't know what they done did to TCU, because I'll give you a quick update. First play of the game, Michigan breaks a long run. They get the ball at like the 10-yard line, and they get stopped. And Michigan tries to go for it on 4th and goal and call like this double reverse pass that didn't work. Then TCU gets the ball. TCU goes 3 and out, bad punt. The very next play, Michigan throws a pick 6, and so it's 3rd and 4 Michigan. So it's crazy. It's going to be interesting.
I'm trying to hurry up and get in there and see there.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick Michigan to pull this one out. I don't really care much for Harbaugh, but Georgia will beat Ohio State. Georgia will win it all. Quick reminder, tune in to In My Own Words on Monday night. Stephen N. Smith will be back to recap everything. Tune in to the Bama Standard Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here. Nick Gentry will be back as our guest. And just stay tuned for all the great things we have going on. But until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide. Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
New Year, guys.